Well, I think it's time to talk security. We have an expert here from HPE, Chandra Rangan. Thanks for joining us on the show today.
Thank you, it's a pleasure to be here.
So, Hewlett-Packard Enterprise Security, what are you guys all about?
HPE, Hewlett-Packard Enterprise, has one of the largest security software businesses in the world. And we have a very active agenda around building security into the fabric of the IT infrastructure itself.
For businesses, what do you think some of their challenges are when it comes to security? Do they fully comprehend what they need to do to protect their companies?
I would say not. I think there's a lot more sensitivity and there's a lot more awareness of security as an issue, but most businesses still struggle to figure out, how do I frame this problem? Because our belief is security is not a problem you solve, it's a posture you manage. Right? And when you're going up against attackers who are going after your data, your infrastructure, then all it takes is one chink in the armor for them to get through. So if you go down the path of this artificial search for certainty that you're going to be protected, you will fail. And so the right approach, we think, is the assumption of compromise. Assume that you've already been compromised, or you will be compromised, or maybe you're in the process of being compromised. And if you take that mindset, really what you're doing is trying to manage what matters most to you, but also what matters most to the attackers, what are they going after, and then apply a risk-based posture to managing security. So it's not hackers doing bad things, it's criminals becoming hackers. That's what we are dealing with. And so you've got a whole range of attackers, malicious attackers, from the script kiddies who are hobbyists and they want to do something for fun, but all the way through criminal organizations who are doing it with a motive of profit, to nation-state type attackers, and it's a continuum. And the biggest thing to worry about today are the criminal organizations, because those organizations, if you understand how they behave, then you get a better sense of how you should protect yourself against them. And again, the most important thing to realize is these organizations are businesses. Right? They want to make money. They go after your data to monetize it, and they want to sell your credit card information. For example, a credit card in the United States is worth $10, $15, $20 in the black market. A credit card globally in Asia, Pacific, or Europe is worth a lot more because they're tougher to crack and use, and they're worth $60, $70, $80, maybe even $100. And so they want to mount attacks which have a low cost, and they want to get data and information that is of high value for them in the black markets. So once you understand that, business leaders can now make better decisions on what to protect and how to protect it and where to invest their dollars.
No, it makes sense, because I think business leaders understand other businesses, that whole kind of mindset.
Exactly, right? So business leaders may not understand what a SQL injection attack is,
yes,
or what a DDoS attack is, but they know how to compete in the marketplace against other businesses. And so if you start approaching security from a framework of, hey, this is a risk I need to manage, I understand what the attackers are going after, it's a business for them, so how do I change the economics of hacking for the criminal hackers so that we can put ourselves in a much safer position.
So it's kind of interesting, we're standing outside of a lair, so to speak.
That's right.
What are we looking at here?
Yeah, so we came up with this concept for our conference here in beautiful Las Vegas. We thought it'd be very interesting to flip that around and say, why don't you walk in to this area where we have different types of attacks happening and understand how the attacker behaves. And for example, we have we have an attack here we simulate using shell shock, which was a big vulnerability that was discovered around a year back. And so we have a shell shock attack, and we show how that attack happens, and it happens in a matter of minutes. Seems like you think you can prevent this from happening, but see how quickly it happens and how easily it can happen, and therefore do the right thing by patching your servers. It feels like a hard thing to do because going and patching your servers is tough. It's simple, but you have to do it because there is no way you can protect yourself against the speed and the capability and the ease with which attackers can go after your environment.
It could cost you millions of dollars if you don't.
Exactly, right? And we have one more exhibit here where we show how attackers can actually go after your hardware. They can get into your BIOS, into your firmware, and once they're inside your hardware, it's very difficult to pull them out. And you may not even know that they exist, till they actually activate the attack. And so it's an education process, just flipping the paradigm on its head to see, you're actually competing against not a problem in abstract. These are real people doing real things, going after your data and your money. Yeah.
Well, thanks for joining us on the show, and
Thank you.
I look forward to some of these demos.
Absolutely.